Low-budget filmmaking is what we see in developing countries, and it's very important for us to know how to manage resources. My name is Dennis Ijogu, and I'm a producer, scriptwriter, director, and a voiceover artist, and I'll be sharing with you tips on how to achieve successful low-budget filmmaking.
Speaking of script and interpretation of script, it's important for you to know the limits of your actors. Make sure that they're doing things they're comfortable with, because once there's a bit of discomfort, it actually shows in the acting and it shows in their countenance as well, and viewers will be able to pick it up. What am I trying to say here? Some people are not comfortable with some physical scenes, and so as a director, you need to fully understand where they're coming from. If there's a possibility, if the producer says, hey, this is what I want, and if within the producer's framework he's comfortable with it, the market he's sending it to is comfortable with it, because that's another thing. You want to have a case where you need to sit down with the producer and find out, this script is saying XYZ. How do we depict XYZ? Is this something you're comfortable with? You don't want a case where you shoot a movie, you've done the scenes and the rest, the producer looks at it and says, I don't like this scene, this is horrible, why are you doing this? You know I want to sell this to a country that can't take this, if you're trying to ruin this business. So you need to sit down with the producer, find out the script, what is comfortable, what's not comfortable, the interpretation, listen to what I'm trying to say here, the interpretation of the script. In some cases, the producer might not really understand the script in terms of the what is going to entail to do XYZ in the script. So you as a director, you need to interpret that to the producer and make sure that it's okay with him. Then the other people, like I mentioned earlier, is the actors. You need to understand that, hey, this actor is not used to being hugged like this or being held like that. Is it okay? In some cases, if you have an actor who has a jealous spouse, some things might not be difficult for them to do. So get this thing sorted out. Talk to your crew, talk to your actors, and find out what they're comfortable with. Also, that could spill into the crew, because if you have, like I mentioned earlier, the case of the people that had to then shoot at the riverine area in the community, and unfortunately the boat capsized. So if you have a crew that can't swim and he's meant to handle XYZ near the river or waterside, you need to be very careful to ensure that somebody is there to save him if something goes wrong. So talk to your crew, talk to your actors, and make sure that both of you fully understand yourselves. In addition, also talk to the producer. The producer needs to give you the go-ahead on the interpretation of the script, because you don't want a case where like I said earlier, you finished the job and the producer looks at it and says, this is not what I want, which is going to be a nightmare. One of the key things you need to have from the onset is a production meeting. Yes, so now my own advice is go through, check the script like I mentioned, look at the location and the rest of them, and then have a production meeting. Now, when you check the location, you've looked at the script, you've looked at the scenes, been able to visualize, it now tells you the kind of people you should choose for the job in terms of your crew and in terms of your actors, like I mentioned earlier. In that production meeting, you'll be able to lay out the ideas about the script. Everybody has an idea what is going to entail. Have a shooting schedule, so that you can use that shooting schedule to work according to the framework of time that's been given to you. So everybody realizes that we are doing X, Y, this time, that time. I like the idea of, as a producer, to communicate with my crew, make them understand we need to do X, Y, Z scenes and this day, and these are the things that we need to accomplish within this framework. Well, from let's say morning to around this time, we need to have done X, Y, Z. So everybody's working in unison with my objectives, my plan. So it's important for us to have a production meeting. In that production meeting, also listen to everyone's advice, because you guys are going to discuss about audio, it's going to discuss about special effects, in terms of, or rather, surrounding effects, surrounding sound, and the challenges that they might face, and the rest of them. You could also have discussions on kind of equipment that will work in that sort of place. the challenges that might come up. So the production meeting entails a lot of things where everybody, as a director, be open to people speaking their minds. Don't just shut them down and say, this is not going to work. This is what I want. Because when things go wrong, like I keep mentioning, is a director that is at fault. Nobody will ask questions about the cameraman not being skilled enough and the rest of them. So you, the director, you have to have a balance. You need to be open. And very, very importantly, I would like to also stress that everybody that concerns the project during the production meeting should be there, including the editor, including the special effects person, including the audio person, that is post-production audio, that's probably bringing soundtracks and all that that's probably bringing additional sound for the project, should also be there to have an idea of what to look for. You don't want a case where you finish shooting and then you have to have another meeting, and somebody at the meeting will now say, oh, I wish you had told me earlier, and I wish I had been a part of the production meeting. I would have advised you not to do XYZ or to do XYZ. So these are very important areas you should consider during the production meeting. Yes, so one of the things you're going to watch out for during your production meeting is the fact that you should actually have a storyboard, but because it's low budget, you might not have enough money to pay for for an artist or someone in the graphic area to design something for you. Now, the whole essence of a storyboard is to guide everyone on what to expect next. Now, the storyboard is also built on the fact that you've looked at the location, you've studied various angles, and you've built up a storyboard to help you out. What I advise in most cases as a low-budget film director is to create your own storyboard by going online, checking out pictures, and then putting those pictures together. So when you're showing your crew from your laptop or from your tab, they really understand what it should be. So you can print it out at the end and say, okay, this is what we're trying to pursue. So that is an easy way, a cheaper way on how to achieve a storyboard. If you had to follow the professional way, which is really could be expensive, to getting someone to draw, to do all that, to put things together, it might be an additional cost. If you can afford it, fantastic idea, because it actually helps you to know exactly which direction to go in terms of shooting and etc.